Hi, and welcome to my new YouTube channel, BS with Becca. I know what you're thinking, BS, but it's not what you're thinking. I'm making it be sane, be still, be silly, be sassy, be serious with Becca. All of these things because I'm trying to just bring a little voice of sanity in a world gone mad. And the reason I say that is I feel like all throughout history, there's been something that I like to call egotistical pessimism. Or the opposite way to describe that would be pessimistic egotism. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean is, it seems like in every generation, there are people who will say, oh, this is the end of the world. There's this sign, and this person's the Antichrist, or that person's the Antichrist. The world is definitely coming to an end. And the fact is, every generation thinks this. I'll give you an example. At the turn of the century, between the 18th and 19th century, in the cities of New York and Philadelphia and Chicago, they were filled with horses. And the streets were still mostly mud. In fact, the first paved road was in New Orleans. So none of these other big cities had paved roads. So they were filling up with, of course, what comes out of the other end of the horse, the BS. I told you this was BS with Becca. So it's a story about, horse manure. So the roads are filling up with horse manure. And as you can imagine, this made the city's miserable places to live in. First of all, the smells, the flies, not to mention diseases, and the women getting their long skirts dirty, the men getting their long pants dirty. It was a horrible way to live. And it was getting so bad because each of these cities, those three cities I named, all had over 1 million people. So imagine how many horses there were. Deliveries, transportation, anything, everything, even the fire trucks. Remember, you've seen pictures of them, fire trucks led by horses. So it seemed like the world was simply going to fill up with horse manure, and it was going to bring about the end of the world. They really could not, in that period of time, in the late 1890s, think of any possible way to solve this problem. It seemed completely unsolvable. And then came Henry Ford with his car. And by 1905, people could buy a Model T. And suddenly the problem was solved. And the whole horse manure problem went away just like that. But at the time, people who lived in those cities really thought for them it was going to be the end of the world. So do you get my point? It's like this happens every time. Remember Y2K? We all thought that was going to be the end of the world, in spite of the fact that it was only the year 2000 in the West. In China, it's like the year 7000. For the Jews, it's the year 4000. For the Muslims, it's only like 1600. It's a random number for us in the West. Has nothing to do with why would that affect the end of the world. Anyway, but remember how bad the panic was. So it just seems to me that every generation thinks it's the worst, that the things couldn't possibly be any worse than they are now. And I just want to say that we do have to take seriously when bad things happen, like this crisis right now, but it doesn't mean it's the end of the world. And we have to have some hope. And I actually do want to tell you right now that I do believe there is hope. And part of that is the very fact that I can be on this video and talk to you. And so just to start with, my first thing would be to say, yes, there are a lot of bad things going on out there, but there's a whole lot of good. And I still believe that the good outweighs the bad. And I'll start by just saying these flowers alone for 100 years or more have been coming up just down the hill from me on the riverbank. And that gives me hope. So your homework, if you choose to accept it, your mission, so to speak, is to think of all the things right now that you're grateful for, the ways in which actually life is going on around you. Turn off the television, get off the internet as soon as you're done watching this video. and just look around you and think of all the things that actually are going right in your world right now, all the things you can be thankful for. Focus on that, even if just for a few minutes, just to give your mind a break from all the negativity. That's BS with Becca for today. Thanks for watching. See you next time.